Snyder, the author of American Vampire. Hello.
Yeah,
Thank you for being with us.
No, thanks for having me. I'm thrilled.
First of all, congratulations on the exclusive DC contract. That must be... What does it feel like?
Yeah, it's like a dream come true. I mean, I was really hoping that they would offer me, you know, a run on something, and then to get offered the exclusive and with Detective, I'm like over the moon. I feel like I've been like drafted from like, you know, like my first moment on a major league team to pitch in the All-Star game or something like that, you know. So I'm very nervous, but I'm very excited.
Well, your writing is amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Absolutely amazing.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
I have to say, for those of you who do not know, it's broken. American Vampire has two different storylines. Scott writes the first one, Stephen King writes the second one, and you blow away the Stephen King one.
Oh, whatever.
No, you do.
Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Everyone that I know that has read it has been like, the first story is awesome.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. I really, you know, it was so nerve-wracking having him on the book because I'm such a huge fan of his, and it was just like, every script he turned in was so rich. I'm excited for the hardcover because you'll see his scripts, and they're so detailed and so nuanced. So I would see those and be like, oh my god, how am I going to compete with this? So I must have done like 10 drafts of the first couple issues just to make sure. So it means a lot to hear. I appreciate that.
Was that your idea to work with him, or was that DC?
Yeah, well, it was kind of funny actually. What happened was, I pitched the series to DC, to Vertigo, and it went through to Greenlight. So it was sold, it was done, and they asked me if I knew anybody that might do a line of publicity for it from the book world. Like, would somebody be interested in just doing a blurb for when it comes out or for press? So I said I happen to know Stephen King. He was kind enough to review my book when my book came out. So I sent it to Steve, and he wrote back saying, you know, I like this enough that if you'd be interested, I would even do an issue. And I was like, if I tell them that you want to do an issue, they're going to jump at that. And he was like, no, I don't know about that. I've never written a comic, and maybe I won't be any good. And I was like, they will want you to do it. So I told them, and they were thrilled. And so he originally was only going to do one issue, and we were going to break it up and make it the back of the Pearl story. And if you look closely, actually, in the comic, you can almost see where that issue was going to... It was going to end with Skinner buried in the box, and you weren't going to know how he gets out of the lake after an issue 2. But he wound up having a good time, and wound up writing enough for 5 issues. Like, each week I'd get an email that's like, oh, I wrote a little more. I'd like to go off the res a bit more with this. And so it was a pleasure working with him, and that's how the collaboration came about. I'm very sorry to see him leave on 5, but I'm also really, really excited to show what we have in store, me and Raphael, the two of us. So.
Well, what do you have in store? What can you tell us is going to happen?
I will tell you, I'll tell you as much as I can, which is, the next cycle is going to pick up 10 years after the first, so 1935. All the big characters are going to be in it. Pearl, you're going to see Pearl again, you're going to see Skinner plays a huge part. Henry, Pearl's boyfriend, some of the same European vampires. But we're also going to explore the secret history between different vampire species, and you're going to meet a couple new ancient species and so on of vampires that are pretty badass. And in terms of the story itself, it opens up in Las Vegas in the 30s when Las Vegas is just becoming the Las Vegas we know. And it's sort of becoming this boomtown, and this bunch of bodies start showing up all over the city, drained of blood. And so it begins this murder mystery that this young cop has to take on, and as he takes it on, it brings him into the world of American Vampire, where all the old characters become part of the story again.
That's so exciting.
Thanks.
By far, the book I'm most excited about every month is American Vampire.
Thanks.
If you're not reading it, pick it up.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time. And,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks. Anytime. Thank you.